I found my feathers. Oh, happy about that. The feathers that I made the other day. So, I do have feathers. Just gotta figure out how to properly use the brush, that's all. If I start from bottom and then work my way up, maybe. It's just too. Maybe. I figured out that I wonder why it's angling it like that. It was because the oh no, it's because of the surface. Okay, so that is because of the surface. Depends on what surface I drag it out on. I'm not gonna commit to this. I just want to try to figure out. Yeah, we'll start from the bottom here. And kind of just nope. Like a system to the madness, I'm sure. Maybe a 1? I think if I combine, I already did, so I need to, I'll Z remesh it. Maybe that'll help. To where it's not. Okay. As long as I start from the surface of this and drag, it seems to work fine. Probably end up like not liking it and going back a little. Or like putting some silver like that. Try to like blend it up a little bit more so that way it's not too uniformed, I suppose. I'll adjust that to where it's Maybe. I think once I grab some brushes and I'll do like the move tool. And I will adjust it some more. When it gets to that part, when it gets a little weird, I might be able to kind of do something. Okay, I think I'll let it go through like this, but I will like layer on top of it. Maybe under it. Maybe I'll come in from like the top or something like that, and then I could probably just grab, like make a batch and then grab it. Wrong. Wait, why is what happened to my move brush? Maybe if I yeah, what's my, if I remember how to do this, it's been a minute. Where's unlock UI? Restore custom. I didn't do anything. Where did I save my? UI even to begin with. There we go. How did I move? Brush. Oh, it keeps changing. Where was it? Not alpha. Move topology. There we go. There we go. And I'll put reset current brush there. And reset all brushes underneath that. And then there we go. Oh, so that's where it was saved. I'll save that here. And then I'll also save my UI somewhere I can find it easier next time. Right here would be fine. There we go. I don't even know how my UI got messed up in the first place, to be honest. Okay. Now I can reset my brushes down below now. So I've been talking about wanting to do that earlier because I keep messing up my brushes. I accidentally changed in the focal and I don't remember what the normal focal was. So I got that now. I think it was probably better off keeping it separate instead of just one. Maybe I can maybe what I'll do Let's just make a change the draw size too. This is the drag. And get in these smaller places and maybe get it to match more of the surface. Pretty sure there's a easier way to, and knowing my luck, I'll discover the easier way when I'm done. But oh well, I'll remember it for the next project that I do that requires me to do something like this. I don't think we need to really put in too many feathers because I'm gonna blend it in. Just a couple patches every now and then to show that there are feathers here, you know? Or like how when you do like stylized fur, you do like a couple patches every now and then to give off the feeling of fur, but not necessarily doing every single strand. So just putting some patches every other spot or so. Then maybe I can do something with that. Wonder for drag and oh, I can. If I hit spacebar, it lets me kind of reposition it. I know I said I was gonna do patches, but then I ended up not doing patches. I ended up doing this. Anyway. Then I can go for a sandwich. Not just any sandwich. I want one of those sandwiches that Scooby and Shaggy be making, you know. I want a sandwich. Shit's stacked, seasoned, and wet. Cause they got that sauce. Right, my HelloFresh saying it's delivered. Yeah, HelloFresh is here. All right, I'll be right back. I'm going to put my stuff in the fridge real quick. Be right back. It don't take too long. Only a couple seconds. 1, 2, done. I need to clean out my fridge. I'll do that after stream today. Fridge looking a little messy. Got like chocolate lava cake from HelloFresh. Dude, I'm a little upset that they decreased the serving sizes of the cakes that they used to give. Like back in the day when you got like a pie, like a cheesecake or whatever, they came in like threes. Like you'll get 3 of them for the price that they are now. Now you only get like 2. But I don't pay for the desserts, honestly. I get the desserts for free because if you order a certain amount of boxes, they usually give you like a reward, cash reward or whatever, to use towards anything in the market. So I personally don't worry about the desserts too much. If I want a dessert, normally I get it from like places that I go to if I get out to eat on the weekends or whatever. It's fine. But I will say it anyway. Either way, I am upset that they decreased the amount of servings that you get. I know it's free. I know I'm getting it for free, but I still have a right to complain a little bit because I want 3 free. Got too much to ask for? Maybe a little. All I'm saying is something used to be a certain amount for the price and then all of a sudden it's less but the price is still the same. I'd be a little upset. Whether it's free or not, they're getting away with it. And then I always see those ads for HelloFresh where it's like sign up today and you get free breakfast for life. I'm like, the fuck? Where's my free breakfast for life? But then I realized that you don't really get a choice in the breakfast object you get, and it's like one breakfast item. So it's like, you know, you get one personal serving of an egg cup, and there's your free breakfast. It's very, very misleading, you know. It just looks like a mess. But yeah, in today I need to clean out my fridge, figure out what I'm gonna cook today. Well, I know I'm gonna cook one of the meals that I got, but which one is the question. Probably the ravioli pasta one. That one's pretty, those are typically pretty easy to make and quick. Or I'll make the ones that take a little bit longer, since today's a rest day, not a workout day, so I have more time. So I'll probably go with that, something like that, something a little harder. Because I got like shrimp on one, and then there's like a fish on the other one, salmon on the other one. So I'll probably do one of those too. Because what did I get? Creamy garlic spinach ricotta ravioli, Hawaiian style coconut shrimp, tempura coconut shrimp, and salmon banh mi with baguettes, on baguettes. I probably did a salmon one, like a little sandwich. And I was talking about how I want a sandwich. So that's the only one that really makes any sense. Said I wanted a sandwich, so it's not one of them Scooby-Doo sandwiches, but it's a sandwich nonetheless. Wonder if I clear it like that instead. No. Trying to look better. I'm giving a little rotate. Yeah, some of these. Can definitely do some. Do some work. There we go. Maybe it's just too small. I should have gone with the same size across the board that I did with the lower half, but I don't know. It looks fine, but it also doesn't at the same time. Like I'm trying to figure out. Like I'm not hating it. Looks good, decent. I wonder what'll happen if I Z-remesh and project history on there. I know it'll keep the details, but will it how would it look, you know? Might be wondering, am I gonna do this for the entire body? No. Luckily, it's only like the front half of the body, like this torso area and this front. All the back from this torso portion to the very back and the legs and all that stuff don't have feathers on it. It's mostly just the front portion. So, and I did this like what, an hour? That was with me also getting up to go put in my HelloFresh, so it's not too bad, I guess, you know? But I'm not really too worried about time. Not like this is a time sensitive project or anything. All my models that I make on stream, or just in general, all just personal projects anyway. I just enjoy doing it. No, it didn't sound like that. I enjoy it, but I do. Y'all are here for the ride, along for the ride of me going through this journey. Learning new things along the way. Pushing my limits. Doing some challenges. This is my first time doing, well, second time doing a creature, but the first time doing a creature of this level, because the last one was a spider and there really wasn't much to that one, and that was like 3-4 years ago, so that was the last creature that I kind of done. And this is definitely the most detailed model that I've done so far, because older ones I definitely wouldn't have sat around making 6,000 feathers. This one I actually like made a brush and everything. This is my first time making a brush. I made this feather brush, which I also have 2 feathers in here. So definitely learned a lot from this project already. And that's always good. I learn something new with each project. In this case, it was making a brush. I know there's a way to repeat your last action across a distance or whatever. I don't think it's I think it might be in the array, and I just haven't found it yet because I haven't looked, but I could have sworn there was a way to repeat the same thing. So I remember seeing it in like a video when they're like, this is new updates for Zbrush. I don't know if it's in my Zbrush or if it's in a Zbrush that came out later. So I'm on 2022.0.7, which was the last iteration that was released before they went to a subscription based model. And I remember there was something where it's like you make one object on one end and then you make an object on the other end and then you hit like repeat or whatever and it'll fill in the gap between the two. But one, I don't remember how to even look up that thing. And two, I don't remember. I just don't remember what's it called, you know? If I had a general idea of what it was called, I probably could look it up. Or if anyone knows, definitely let me know. On the YouTube side, you can leave a comment if you're watching this later. And you hear me say this. And you're like, oh, I know what tool that is. Would it be helpful? Alright, I'm gonna save it. $4.75 mil. Let's see what happens if I do this. I'm gonna Z remesh it. Maybe. Okay, I'll Dynamesh. And then I'll Z remesh. I think I'm cooking with something here. Try to see if this will reduce the poly count. I also want to see what it'll look like with that. It's stinking. I did save before I did this though too. So I dynameshed it so that way it'll become one mesh, all of it combined to a single mesh. And then I Z remeshed it. Definitely bring it down to a single mesh, but with lower polys. And then I'm gonna project the history on it to get back the detail of the feathers. And if this works, I'll do the same thing with the rest of the body. Probably would have been faster if I didn't have the thing set to poly count 5. I forgot to lower that when I hit Z remesh. Normally I put it like on half, and I just keep reducing it by half until it looks good. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I hit escape, so abort. Abort, abort. Hit half. Decreases, zero mesh. So, how's your day? This is the part of the video where we cut out the epic wait. I probably could also increase the speed if I delete half of it and then do it, so it only has to calculate one half. And then I hit mirror. It's working a lot faster now. No, 0.9. I'll do 0.9 and 8. Stick with that. I'll let it do its thing. I definitely want to make sure that I do this now before I get into any other parts. If I was to do this last, I'd be sitting here forever and a day. We don't want that. So I usually try to zero mesh and project the details on stuff before I move on to the next thing anyway, to keep everything low. I can just drop the division levels down to like 1. Some dumplings. Taking a minute. It's not because of the stream or anything, it's just that's just how it is. I do have I use a separate PC for streaming. Come on, chicken leg. Got this. And the thing is, all the feathers were all low. I guess it kind of went up high whenever I dynameshed it. I probably shouldn't have dynameshed it so high up. It's probably because of the keep creases on there too. Maybe if I turned off keep creases, it would work a little bit faster. Could try that. I say that and then I turn on Legacy 2018. Come on, I just want to bring everything to one. I just wonder what the hell are these people doing? The joys of living in an apartment. The bad thing is I live on the top floor, the highest floor, which is only 2 floors. I live on a corner, so I'm technically only surrounded by 2 places, one on the left and one behind me, and then whoever's below me. But I'm never gonna hear anything from a person below me unless they're like banging on the fucking ceiling, and that'll be weird. So it's just weird that I sit here and I hear like a rumbling noise or whatever. It's like whoever is next to me is really going through it sometimes. Like they're always like wrestling or something like that in the mornings around like 10 or 11, and then there's like thumping and hammering and shit, and it's like, so are they doing like construction or something like that next door? But they're not. There's like no construction going on anywhere. So now that I think about it, it could be like that whole Dahmer case thing going on again, and it's next door and I don't realize it. It could be like legitimately murdering people over there and dismembering bodies and shit, and I don't even know it because of all the thumping and shit that's going on over there during the daytime. It'd be weird to do it at night. That'd be sus. But they do it during the day. But now it's just more sus because it's so frequent. It's like, bro, what are you working on? Reminds me of that there's a series that I just finished watching yesterday. Someone recommended it. I give it a alright. I give it a 7 out of 10. It was passing. It was alright. I think it was called like The Woman in the Window Across the Street or something like that on Netflix, whatever. And I watched it, and yeah, it definitely has a lot of what the fuck factors, but I feel like they just felt like they were just throwing everything and anything in there and just didn't make any sense. And then they try to explain why it makes sense, and it's like, it still don't make no fucking sense. Like, okay, I know no one's ever gonna really watch this, but well, watch the series anyway. But it's about this lady who's like hopped up on medication and wine, which is, you're not supposed to mix the two. Well, they tell her not to mix the two because, you know, causes hallucinations and shit. And she witnesses a murder across the street while looking out her window, but it turns out that there was no murder, and people are thinking she's crazy, and the dude that lives in the house thinks she's crazy for it. She's like, what do you mean she's not murdered? She just said that she went to the West Coast or whatever. She's a flight attendant. You probably saw her red scarf and thought it was blood, whatever. So it's okay, whatever. So now she's determined to prove that that guy is a murderer, and everyone's like, there's no evidence on him. And they're like, oh well, his past wife died, and his teacher, not teacher, but he used to chaperone because he has a kid, and he was chaperone for the field trips and stuff like that, and he was messing around with the teacher, and then the teacher ends up dying, falling off of like a lighthouse or whatever during one of the field trips. And it's like, okay, that's cool. So it kind of points at him being a murderer because he's got a history of all the women around him dying, and she's trying to figure this shit out. And then during this whole thing series, you see this guy that's always fixing her fucking mailbox, and apparently he's got his own problems of his own. He's like, he's just, you know, a little slow. We'll just leave it at that. He's slow and feels like little to no pain because he shot himself with a nail gun by accident, and he was like, huh, I seem to have shot myself with a nail gun. And then he pulls out the nail like nothing happened, and she's like, the fuck? Here, let me fix you up. He's like, thanks, you're the only one that's ever been really nice to me. And he's, you know, he does the typical address people by Miss or Mr. sort of. But anyway, she's trying to figure out this whole murder thing, and she sees him taking out a bag, and she looks in the bag. It's just one of those puppets, because he does ventriloquism on the side to, you know, get past the trauma of his wife dying, which was a case called as a accident. She drowned. And so things go on. The lady, they find the body of the lady, but the main character, the chick, she like was doing some research, and she found out that the lady that was murdered, the flight attendant, was seeing some guy on, like, he was like some model and stripper or whatever. And so she's like, oh, that guy, he's the one. He has to know where she disappeared to or whatever. And then out of nowhere, he's at her house because she needed to get into his Instagram, whatever, but it was privated. So she sent her friend request and it didn't go through the first time. So she made an account where she posted, like, you know, sexy pictures or whatever. And then she sent a friend request, and he was like, oh, cool, you know, and he added her as a friend. And then she was able to find more information about the guy. Find out that he was, like, you know, a male stripper, all the other stuff. And yeah, so she's back home or whatever, and then she gets home, and the guy is there. The stripper guy is at her house with a knife and whatnot, and he's like, where is she? She bailed on me. We had a good plan. We were gonna milk this guy dry, the guy across the street. We were gonna milk him dry for all his money. And she's like, I don't know where she is either. I'm trying to find out. And he's like, I just want answers. And he's like, text your husband. She was like, oh, my husband's gonna be on the way. She's not married, she's divorced. And he's like, text her to tell him that you need something from the store. So she texts him. She's like, I need bread. And the guy's like, the fuck? Her ex-husband's like, fuck? Bread? Okay. You okay? He comes back. He comes to the house. The ex-husband comes to the house with bread, you know, to also check up on her, because obviously that's random when you haven't heard from your ex-spouse in like 3 years, and then they text you about wanting fucking bread. but they ended up getting she ends up getting the ex-husband out, like, to leave or whatever, and then the guy that was with the knife that broke into her house, she's like talking to him or whatnot, and they're like, oh, we need to figure out where this chick is, because now they're working together. And then they fought, and it's like, okay. And then the next morning she gets a knock at the door, and it's the cops, the FBI and stuff like that. They rush in and they grab the guy, and it was like, he was the murderer. He murdered her. You slept with a murderer. She's like, oh my god, I can't believe I slept with a murderer. And then she's like, I'm never gonna drink and do medication ever again. And you're like, okay, cool, this is getting weird, but okay. So she's like, you know, she's sober now. Pours out all of her wine, tosses out her medication, whatever. She's living a clean life now. Everything's been solved. And then she gets another visit from the cops, because apparently they found a murder weapon, and the guy was released the next day because he had a solid alibi. He was dancing at a strip club the day of her murder. And they search her place and they find one of her, she was a painter. And they're like, we found the murder weapon, and it was like a palette knife. It had all her fingerprints on it and stuff like that, because she paints. They're like, the victim was murdered by a palette knife, and we didn't find that until like way later. And your fingerprints are on it, so you're the murderer. She's like, I didn't murder. And they're like, how do you know you didn't murder? You're on medication and alcohol all the time, and you could have done it without remembering it. She's like, oh my god, I think I did it without remembering it. She's getting like flashbacks of her like stabbing some shit and saying, oh, then they also found a painting that said perfect family and had like her, the guy from across the street, and his kid. So it's like, you were jealous of her because she had everything that you wanted. She's like, no, it wasn't me, I swear. You're like, we're taking you in. They book her ass. She posts the $500,000 bail, what her friend does. And she's back at home crying like, holy shit, I think I'm the murderer. And then she hears a thump noise upstairs, so she's like, what the hell, what's that thump noise? Because her house has always been making weird noises and shit, and she's just under the impression that it's just creaking, you know, old houses creak. And yeah, she goes up to the attic, no, not basement, the attic, and before she can pull the string to drop the attic down, this red liquid just pours out, and she like panics and runs downstairs and calls her therapist. It turns out her therapist is her ex-husband, because he's a therapist that was prescribing her medication. Yeah, that was a wild twist. And her ex-husband / therapist is like, you would never murder anyone. She's like, how do you know? Damn, that's disgusting. What the hell? He's like, you'll never murder anyone. I'll figure that out later. She's like, but there's blood. What if I was murdering people and under medication and just didn't realize it? He's like, let's go up to the attic. He's like, okay, so you have me on the phone? Go up to the attic. She's like, I can't. There's blood dripping from the attic. He's like, go up there. And she's like, okay. And she opens the attic and goes up in the attic, turns on the light. It's a bucket of paint. Really good red paint though. Like, it looks like blood. Like, I don't know what kind of painting she's making with that, but solid painting. save it right here. But so she goes up, yeah, finds out it's paint bucket. They're like, huh, it's paint bucket, it's paint. He's like, that doesn't make sense though. I'm still a murderer, I just haven't murdered other people. He's like, no, it's gotta be something going on here. Like, but I can see flashbacks. And then she sees this painting that has like cuts and shit in it. It's like, wait a minute, I remember this. And there's like the painting of the chick that she made. And then she got mad and then like started slashing at the painting with her palette knife. So she's like, oh no, I didn't stab her in a fit of rage. I stabbed a painting of her in a fit of rage. I'm not a murderer. Like, then who's the murderer? And then she like turned around, there's like a glove sitting there in her attic, and she's like, huh, this glove looks familiar. And she's getting flashbacks of like, cause she has like a phobia of the rain, so she passes out in the rain when she saw the murder of the of that one chick in the window. She tried running across the street to help or whatever, but she passed out midway through due to the rain, and someone picked her up and carried her back to the house. And then she kind of got like a flashback of who picked her up and brought her back to the house, and it was the guy that was working on the mailbox. And it turns out that the guy that was working on the mailbox for like the past 20 years or whatever, yeah, he's been working on the mailbox forever. He lived up in her attic this entire time. And she was like, since she was talking to her ex-husband on the phone, she's like, hey, you're the guy that recommended this guy to work on our mailbox. Where'd you find him? And even the husband was like, oh, that was an ex-patient of mine. She's like, ex-patient? You weren't gonna tell me that? And he's like, nah, I didn't think it was that important. You probably wouldn't want me to hire him to fix the mailbox. And she was like, that was like 4 or 5 years ago, and he still hasn't fixed the mailbox. And I don't know how they even let that guy work that long for 4 or 5 years to fix a mailbox, and he hasn't fixed the mailbox for one. And the ex-husband's like, what? He didn't fix the mailbox? It's been like 5-6 years. And she's like, what was he a patient for? And he was like, oh, he murdered his entire fucking family. And she's like, oh my God, you had a murderer. I had a murderer living in my attic. He's the one that did it. And then she looks out the window and sees him crossing the street with a hammer. I don't know why the fuck he has a hammer on him, but he's going across the street with a hammer to the guy across the street. That's the kid. And she's like, I gotta stop this. And it's raining. So she runs outside and it's raining. She passes out, but she gets the will to get back up. And she makes it across the street. And she opens the door to find the dude with the hammer is laying on the ground with a slit in his throat, bleeding out. And the last words he has to say is, they had their mail in your mailbox and I wanted to bring it to them. And it's like, the fuck? If he's not the murderer, who is? And she turns around and she's like, it has to be the guy. Cause you know, everything's been looking at that guy lately. And then you hear the daughter scream. Daughter's like 9 years old, 9 or 8. And she's like, why did you hurt him? And then the main character, the lady, is like, it has to be the husband. So she runs into the living room and she looks over and the husband has his throat slit. And the daughter is like, surprise, I'm the killer all along. The 9-year-old was the killer. And she has a knife. And they're like, how could you do such a thing? And she's like, they never really explained why she was killing people. Like what got her into killing people was like really poor excuses for murder certain people. It was like, why'd you kill the flight attendant? I killed the flight attendant because she told me I shouldn't eat sugar. Why'd you kill your mom? I killed my mom. I spent all summer sawing the pier so that way when she grabbed onto the pier, when she walks to the edge of the pier, she'll fall in and drown. And I did it because I wanted to stay a single child. Why'd you kill your dad? I don't know. I just killed my dad because his ventriloquism sucked. I was like, what the fuck? And now I'm gonna kill you and frame you for it because no one will believe you. So now she's throwing hands with a 9-year-old, which by the way, she's losing. Like, she's literally getting her ass whooped by a 9-year-old. They're like breaking shit, and 9-year-old's strong as shit because she slammed her head into a glass table and broke the glass table, and was like, holy shit. And the ex-husband who was on the phone is on the way now, because when she passed out in the street, she left her phone in the middle of the street, so he's on the way to her house. And the little girl grabs a gun and shoots her, after stabbing her, of course, shoots her, and then smashes a casserole dish on her head, knocking out the lady. And then the little girl calls 911 and is like, this lady attacked me and I defended myself in self-defense. And she's like, nah. And then the lady's like getting up and she's like, oh, she hangs up on the cops. She's like, oh, you can't just stay down, huh? Let me... I know y'all probably like really trying to figure out what's going on here. What was there? Don't worry. But yeah, so you just can't stay down, huh? And she's about to stab her again with the knife, but then the lady was able to grab one of the pieces of the casserole dish and stabs the little girl, killing the little girl. The little girl's dead now. And the husband gets there just in time to be like, the ex-husband gets there just in time to be like, what happened? But then the lady passes out. And then it turns out that she wakes up in the hospital. And the detective that originally arrested her for murder was like, I'm sorry, here's some flowers. I thought you were the murderer, but you weren't. Here's some apologetic flowers. Yeah, and that's pretty much the end of it. That's the gist of everything that went on in that series. And I'm just sitting here like, damn, I watched this. Wasn't bad. Just definitely could have used some work there. Oh, and the kicker is she recovers and she sells art, painting, stuff like that. So she's back at the gallery, her stuff sells. She sees her ex-husband there with a chick, and it turns out the chick is just a really good psychiatrist or whatever that he's been partnered with due to work. So he's actually not seen anyone, and he was the one that bought her painting. Then they get back together, get married, all that stuff. They actually have another kid. Yeah, she had a first kid. That's where she got the rain phobia from, and that's why they broke up the first time, because he brought it was bring your daughter to work day. for school, but not for his work. So they're like, why don't you bring her to your work? And he works as an FBI agent, a therapist for the FBI or whatever. And he brought her to work at a prison, and he was interviewing some guy that was like a known cannibal, and he needed to go do something real quick. And so he left the room. He left the cannibal in the room with his daughter, and the door was accidentally locked. And so the cannibal ate his daughter. And that's how, and it was on a rainy day when this happened. And that's why she has phobia of the rain. And she blames herself for the death of their daughter because she was the one that was like, you should take her to work. But he blames himself because he left his daughter unattended with a mass serial killer that eats people. But yeah, they have another kid, and now she's going on vacation to go to New York or whatever to meet up with one of her friends. And the husband's back at home with the kid. And she's doing it. They ask her, do you want any wine? And she's like, I don't drink wine anymore, but I would take vodka. It's like, okay, so we didn't learn anything from her mass hallucinations from the first part of the series. You're gonna still drink. What makes it worse is she's still drinking and taking medication, and this lady sits next to her, and they fly. She has dreams. She wakes up, the lady's not there. She goes to the bathroom, the lady's in the bathroom but dead. She calls the flight attendant. The flight attendant opens the door. No one's there. There is no body, but the lady is not there. So she goes back to her seat like, damn, I really need to stop drinking and medicating. And then she sees something in the seat. It looks like a makeup palette, a golden makeup palette. And then she's like, bingo. And then it ends. It's like, oh, she's saying she thinks she's some detective or some shit. Like, soccer mom's on the case. Like, what the fuck? I'm just like, man, I really do hope they don't make another season. Like I said, it wasn't bad. It was just, it had everything that kind of wanted in the show, I guess. So I was looking for shows that are basically give you like a big plot twist, big what the fuck moments at the end ish, you know? And that was definitely a moment. So yeah, and it was all because I watched Baby Reindeer, which had like its own little twist at the end or whatever. And then I watched The Tutor, which also had like a twist at the end. And that's why this show was recommended to me, because it had like a twist at the end. I wasn't expecting the daughter to be the murderer though, and they like told her entire how she was doing shit. Why does she have a wagon full of chocolate and a chopped up fucking leg when she went to go get the palette knife to place as a murder weapon? Show was wild. How'd she even have time to do that? And they're like, your dad was home. How'd you get away with murdering the first lady? And she was like, oh, he was in the bathroom with the water running, practicing his ventriloquism. I'm just like, damn, this is some crazy ass shit that I'm watching. So yeah. Netflix really pulling out the bangers, huh? This wing is kind of just here for a general idea. Action needs to be further back, like right there. And symmetry, like right there ish. There'd be more to it. I just in general shape ish. But yeah, that's story of my life on that one. Would I recommend this show? Probably not. If you want to watch a train wreck, yeah, sure, go for it. It's definitely one of those shows where it's like bad but good at the same time, because how bad it is, you know. It was just so much randomness to it that kind of like was the cause of why I was like kind of, if it wasn't so random and it wasn't trying to do everything and just like, oh my god, just come on, lady, why are you still mixing your pills and your alcohol? Now you think you're a detective and you're gonna be solving some plane murder. If there's a season 2, is that where you're going with this? Like it was one of those things where it's just doing too much. Okay. The general shape. I kind of got on the wing because I was like, I had to place the wing where it was properly before I add the feather set portion. I want to make sure I got the wings in the right spot so I can go around the wings, you know? Oof. I did notice the feathers do get bigger towards the back. I do want to make sure that I kind of remember that. Mostly in the like the middle back portion. Yeah. I'm going to like try to wrap So that's my review of whatever that show was called. I do enjoy movies and shows that are just so bad that they're like good in a way, because it's like, I can't believe I just watched that. It was funny, and I feel like that was definitely one of them. It wasn't a genre that I do enjoy, where it's like mystery, a thriller, mystery, stuff like that, where you don't know who the killer is. I legitimately was thinking maybe it was the guy, and then I started to slowly realize, like, after he got that nail stuck in his hand, I was like, maybe he's the killer, and he killed all those people because, you know, she was the only one that was like really nice to him, so he was just doing whatever it takes to make sure she was happy. So I legit thought it was the guy, and plus he was definitely working on that mailbox for way too long, and I was starting to question the mailbox, because it was every episode you literally see the guy fiddling around with the mailbox. So it's kind of like they placed him there to be like, he's the murderer. I was definitely under the impression that he's the murderer, you know. So they had me. They had me in the first half. I'm not gonna lie, coach. Okay, now I'm gonna make the wings disappear. I got the general location of them, so now I won't like make it look weird. I'll figure out the maybe when I decimate it, it won't be too bad, you know. It's okay if it goes through. I'll figure out what I'm gonna watch next. I'm already caught up on the Dungeon Meshi, and I'm catching up on Go-Go Loser Ranger. Definitely bigger feathers on the torso portion of the body compared to the rest, so just making sure I kind of put those feathers more underneath each other. Honestly, this is the most I would be doing for like clothes and anything too. It's mostly just feathers. I think that's why I'm also kind of more inclined to make all these feathers, because like normally the clothes are the ones that are like a lot of detail into, but there are no clothes. So putting all the detail into the feathers. I'll probably end up working on the wings. I'm working my way from back to front on the front to back, sorry. Working my way like front to back. And those is gonna be, the feathers were gonna be the most tedious portion of this entire project, so get it out now. Don't have to worry about it too much later. I'm gonna turn off symmetry for the center part. think it'll kind of work itself out. Okay. Move it to. This is why I like the move topology brush, because I'm able to move each individual one. To try to fix them, you know? What do it look like once I... Am I gonna go for this paint? Material? Kind of like this material, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I kind of like this material color. It's like the way it looks on things that are not human. On human skin it looks weird, but on creatures and stuff it doesn't look bad. Kind of like it. This is the other one. I think I like this one a little bit more. think I like the Zbrush skin material for the feathers, and the Zbrush skin 3 for the other part of the bodies that actually shows. I think that'll be fine. Yeah, I think that looks. Yeah, it'll be like that. Not done yet, but getting there. But to see what it look like, which colors and materials I'll use. I'm definitely gonna. I think the current materials that I'm using now for the feathered portion in the legs are definitely gonna be here to stay. Yeah, I think that's gonna be here to stay for now. We will save. I think I'm gonna also make the tail a lot longer too. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. There we go. Back to my normal color. My gray. The wings, I'm gonna do a little bit more work on those too to get the outline of it. I do want to put a little bit more detail into the wing portion before I cover it in feathers. I'll just cover the edges with feather, and then this part will be like longer feathers, which I think I'll probably use the other feather for the wing portion. No, that feather's too. I'll probably fit about. Pull it out. This is a bit longer, so. I'll figure it out. Or I'll probably just do it instead of using the feather tool, I'll just make it like a actual detail it, you know. We'll see. That wasn't anything, it's just me fucking around with it. But I think that's what I'll probably do, is I'll probably make like one feather. Or I'll detail it myself. I'll do like the I'll sculpt it. I won't use a brush, but I'll just sculpt it for the wing. To take a short tangent break from making the feathers. You know, I don't get just the fact that I play music from a game, very popular game, by the way. It's very streamer friendly, I suppose. But it's always someone knocking on my door. Those very light taps. You're back. 1 second. I think someone's knocking on my door, like very lightly. I knew I wasn't fucking tripping. There was someone at my door, but they didn't knock. I thought it was knocking, but it was actually just someone dropping off my package, and I guess I heard it hitting the side of the door or whatever. That's where it was. It was like lodged into the corner of the door in the wall. I either heard that or them going up and down the stairs or something. But it sounded like someone was tapping on my door very lightly, and I was like, the fuck? I know, my hearing's so great. Maybe I'm just paranoid. I thought I was hearing noises. I was like, what the fuck is that noise? I got music going, got like noise headsets on, and I still heard that. I guess that's what happens when you live alone for so long. You just become hyper aware. And then I looked out my window that's next to my computer. I saw someone walking. My window is closed and the blinds are closed. It's just that, you know how when you got certain blinds, you can kind of see through the cracks of them. And since I'm on the top floor, it's the cracks kind of facing downwards, so I can see like whoever's walking across the sidewalk and stuff from my desk if I look over. And I just see the parking lot where my car is at and stuff. So I kind of saw someone walking and they're wearing like a blue shirt-ish. It looked like it was a blue shirt. So I went out, looked, and sure enough, it was Amazon. I saw the Amazon truck, but the guy was nowhere to be found. He must have had another package to deliver somewhere. But I'm glad that my package actually came today. I ordered new, every year I have to order a new set of water filters for my water purifier. It's like 4 filters that attaches to the machine. And then I fill the machine with water, and then I'm able to fill up these pitchers with the water. I have to get it refilled every year. Get a new filter every year. Bad. It's like 150 a year for a water filter thing, and I just fill up, you know, tap water in there and it filters it through. Tap water here is safe to drink. It's just very high in minerals, like extremely high in minerals. We got our water is so fucking hard, it'll clog up your pipes and stuff if you're not careful. You don't have proper water softener and stuff like that. And they say it's because it's we pull water from like a aquifer nearby or something, and it's known for having high minerals. Rated one of the cleanest waters in the nation, but very hard water. So I need to replace the filter and that. I also need to clean up my fridge. I need to mop, well, steam, mop my floors after I vacuum. And then it's off to work I go. Well, I also need to cook, so there's that. Gotta do so much in a day. Gotta love adulting. Auto save. Thank you. I got auto save set to like every 5 minutes, I believe. Every 5 or 20. I think it's on 20, honestly. Let me see. Where is auto save? I think it's in not in help. Reference. Quick save. Yeah, in 20 minutes. I changed that to 10. I'll go 10 and 10. And then keep that at 10. We'll keep it at 10. I think every 10 minutes isn't bad compared to 20. 20 is pretty rough. Kind of like having this, like certain spots are kind of just bald spots. For sure. That looks perfectly fine. Okay. Let me see, because I think it's more of a yellowish off-white. Like that eggshell kind of white, you know? I think that's more along the lines of what we're looking for. Not like a white, but like a yellowish kind of white. And I guess the closest I could think of is like literally eggshell white, you know? I don't know what the actual name for it is something, you know, eggshell white. I think that's more along the lines of what we're looking for. Okay. Bring the color back too. I haven't added the skin tone color or anything like that yet, which would be this one with Z color. I think it's yeah, this is it. Ooh. Be the color that we're going for base wise. I do need to color in the mouth the darker. Probably just go for like a darker black in the mouth itself and see what that looks like. 'Cause Like just go with that for now, you know. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's fine. I could have gone like more dark, like a darker skin tone, a darker pinkish or darkish red, and that probably would have been fine too. I think just going with what I have now is fine. There you go. That's fine right there. And we'll have to paint the head and everything like that and the skin. Or be more of a darker pink on areas. Other than that, it's come along nicely, I think. I'll do like a mask and then create the feathered portion of the body. I'll put feathers on that too. Just having the outline of where the feathers are gonna go are gonna be nice, so it'll help out a lot. I'll need to so the rest of the body is gonna be like the scale and everything like that, so we're gonna do for the rest of the body. The tail definitely can be longer and thinner. Oh shit. Gonna be thicker too, so. If I just right there. Nice to work in this color. There we go. Too bright. Like working with a flashbang on the foot. Once I pose it, I am going to curve the tail and everything like that. I just want to, you know, get it to the stand I'm looking for first. I do think it's a little bit too thin, so I'm doing a little inflate remesh. Try to thicken it out a little bit more. I probably could also do like that if I wanted to. There we go. So it's easier to manipulate. Yeah. About what I'm looking for. Hmm. Next would be working on the back torso area. Did a leg. I did a back leg next, and then go from there. Yeah. Once I finish the dragon's body, then I'll go back to her and then fix her up some. And once I fix her up and get her painted and all that stuff, then I will pose. So it's gonna be back, legs, torso, tail, wings, then body, human body again, and then pose. And that'll be pretty much it. Like pose and then fix up anything that messed up from the posing. because that tends to happen sometimes when things get a little distorted and deformed and all that stuff. So you just gotta do some corrections and fix it up. There's also part of the wings that I have to do, like the little claw thing, like the talon or whatever. I don't know what they call it in the wing, but there's like that talon that be right here of the wing that I'll be making too. I just haven't formed it just yet. And that'll be the same kind of reddish of this, of the body, the scaling of the body and stuff like that. So shouldn't be too bad. And this has been bothering me for a while now. Okay. I just noticed that from distance, it was kind of bothering me. The back leg isn't as... Back leg's kind of more scaled like this portion. Well, it's maybe about the same. Same type of scale in the back leg too. Except when it gets to the actual like limb, there's no feathering, so it's gonna be scaling all around the front too. The backs are like the same tendon or whatever you want to call it. See, kind of poking out the back there. Oh, mistaken. Doing the feathers really put me through it. But I expected that as much from the feathers because I knew it was going to be so much of it for so long. But I'll probably just call it here for today and then get into the back legs tomorrow and start detailing that out tomorrow. I'm quite satisfied with what we got so far today. I know it was mostly just putting feathers on there, but god damn. God damn. Yeah, we'll call it for today. I'll be back tomorrow. Same time. I do appreciate when that came out today. I really do hope that you enjoyed the stream. I need to go plug in these water filters and stuff like that anyway. And clean out my fridge and take out the trash and all of this stuff. I got a lot to do before I go to work. But I do appreciate when it came out today. I'll be back tomorrow, same time. But on that note, I'm Nyx, and I'll be signing out. Y'all have a wonderful day. Really, get on out of here.